Chelsea fans, welcome back to Talking Chelsea. Welcome back to your Chelsea news. Enzo Maresca speaks on Noni Madueke and Mohammed Kudus. Chelsea have been fined by UEFA for breaking their FFP rules. We have an update regarding Noni Madueke to Arsenal, and Chelsea are in pole position to sign Mohammed Kudus. Now, of course, I'll be giving my own thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported, but more importantly, I want to know what you guys think down below in the comments. And before we get into the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content. We're on the road to 10k by the end of 2025. Kicking things off, Bobby Vincent reported what Enzo Maresca said on Jamie Gittins in his post-match press conference. He said, Jamie was here tonight. He was on the pitch and he will be with us for one more day and then he will go on holiday. Enzo Maresca was then asked about Noni Madueke and he said, I want players who are happy to be with us and ones that are not, they can go. Nizar Kinsella then reported what Maresca said on Mohammed Kudus and he says, he is a West Ham player so I cannot say anything. Only thing I can say is I know Kudus since Ajax. Now this is very interesting. It was very nice to see Jamie Gittins on the pitch with the team last night after that 2-1 win over Palmeiras. Still gassed about that and severely sleep deprived, I'm not going to lie. But it was interesting to see him on the pitch. Obviously, we knew he was going to be in attendance. His deal was kind of been dragging over the line in terms of the official announcement, but he is a Chelsea player. And it's just nice to see him. And Maresca's just been very transparent. He was there with the team. He watched the game. He shared that moment with his new squad, and he will go on holiday. And fair enough, he can't play in the rest of the Club World Cup, so he may as well enjoy his time off for rest and recuperation, and then come back to this Chelsea squad, raring to go for the new season. And what Enzo Maresca said about Noni Madueke, I find very, very interesting. Now, I don't want to go down a conspiracy theory rabbit hole, right? But the briefings and the reportings that are coming out that Noni Madueke is in fact open to a move. We'll speak about Noni Madueke specifically a little bit later in the video. There's a lot of stories going around. He's open to the move to Arsenal. Arsenal are very interested. Chelsea have demanded 45 million plus 5 million in add-ons, 50 million total, and they would happily let Madueke leave. For Maresca to come out in the post-match press conference and say, look, I want players that are happy to be here and want to be here. If not, bye. I love that because that's ruthless and it's exactly how it should be. And I think Maresca does very well in his press conferences in the way he protects his players and also takes accountability and also blames players for things. I think it's much needed in the footballing world. And in this instance, he's protecting his own players by, he's building a winning culture. This team fight for Maresca. You can see the passion when they play football and the celebrations they have together, the pain that they go through together. We've seen it a long time and it's getting stronger and stronger, and we're seeing it especially in this Club World Cup tournament. So I think Maresca is in the right here to say, if you don't want to be here, go. See you later, the door's there. Because Maresca does want to just work with players who want to be here. It's very, very clear. This summer window and going into this season, and obviously off the back of this Club World Cup, this is pivotal for Enzo Maresca and this Chelsea squad. We're looking to improve in key areas. We're looking to really push on from what we built last season. And he's not going to be able to do that with players who don't really want to be here. So I think that is fair enough in terms of what Enzo Maresca has said about Noni Madueke. And like I said, we'll speak about more Noni Madueke later on in the video specifically, because I want to touch on something a little bit more regarding him. And it's interesting what Maresca said on Mohammed Kudus, and again we've got more on Kudus specifically later on in the video. The timestamps are always in the description if you guys aren't aware, so you can skip to the bit that you want to hear. But when he says, he's a West Ham player, I can't say anything, that's a pretty PR response, right? But the interesting thing he says is, the only thing I can say is I know Kudus since Ajax, which means he is an admirer. He knows how good he is. He knows what he can do. He's definitely an Enzo Maresca style player. And this does link up, and like I said in yesterday's video about being a domino effect, if Madueke goes, I feel like Chelsea are going to go get Mohammed Kudus, and it's a 1-for-1, 1 in, 1 out. And I tell you what, and this is no disrespect to Noni Madueke, I have been a fan of Madueke for a long time. I try and back him as much as I can. He is extremely frustrating to watch. I will totally agree with that. And he's not perfect, 100%. He has a lot of room to improve. But I still think he's a very good winger for Chelsea. Arguably our best, alongside Neto's recent form. Them two really battling it out to be Chelsea's best winger currently. But if he wants to go for 50 million, Chelsea and Arsenal can agree on that, and we go get someone like Mohammed Kudus, in my opinion, Kudus is a big, big upgrade on Madueke. But I would love to know your thoughts and opinions down below on what Enzo Maresca has said about Kudus, what he said about Madueke, and his overall thoughts on Jamie Gittins being there. Very curious to know your thoughts down below in the comments. Ben Jacobs has reported breaking news that Chelsea have agreed a 4-year settlement and a total fine of 80 million euros, of which 20 million euros is unconditional, by UEFA's CFCB first chamber for not complying with the football earnings rule, which was assessed for for the first time in the 24-25 season. The analysis covered the financial years ending in 23 and 2024. The CFCB First Chamber found that Chelsea also breached the squad cost rule, having reported a squad cost ratio above 80% for 2024. This has resulted in a further €11 million fine for Chelsea. Martin Ziegler had reported that Chelsea fined £27 million by UEFA, with a further £52 million conditional for breaches of its financial rules. Ben Jacobs also reported that Chelsea now in a strong PSR position and believe they can satisfy FFP going forward. Sky Carver have reported that Chelsea were handed a £27 million UEFA fine yesterday, but banked a £15 million for reaching the semi-finals of the Club World Cup to take their earnings to £60 million from the tournament. Chelsea will make another £22 million if they beat Fluminense, and another £29 million if they win the final. This is very interesting to me. I'm not an accountant, and I feel like a lot of fans have become accountants in the recent years because of the amount of money we're spending, who we're selling, FFP, the entire takeover. It's been a roller coaster, and there's no way of beating around the bush. That's just how it's been, right? And myself included, a lot of fans were thinking, what are our owners doing? This whole like NFL draft style, loads of players in, loads of players out, every single window. Yes, it's calmed down. It has calmed down a lot because I feel like we've got the foundations there. We've got the right manager and the right squad, and we're building on what we've built last season. But it's interesting when it comes to the FFP because the FA obviously have different rules to UEFA, and the FA will allow Chelsea to sell the women's teams themselves, sell any assets, car parks, training grounds, hotels, whatever, and that's really bailed us out on the FA side of things. UEFA don't allow a lot of those rules or loopholes, so should we say, and that's where Chelsea have been caught out. Chelsea have been caught out in that sense, and I feel like, I agree with now we're in a very healthy position. We've sorted ourselves out, and with things like the Club World Cup, the financial side of it is absolutely gigantic for the clubs that are in it, and that's why a lot of these teams are taking it very seriously. This is really going to help us out in terms of, keeping a balanced PSR, paying this UEFA fine, helping paying for transfers, and this is without selling players. It's absolutely wild when you think about it. So I'm not worried about it. I also not surprised that Chelsea got caught out by UEFA, and I don't think they were trying to hide anything. I think it was just the facts are we broke the FFP rules for UEFA. We've been fined. Now it's important to note that it's a £27 million fine, which is unconditional. Like that, it has to be paid, right? The rest of it that goes up to, I think it's like 67 million or something like that, or 80 million euros, is conditional after that 27 million. So that's if we breach things further within the next 4 years. And I don't think that we will, if I'm being honest. Now we've secured European football. We've got the competitions like the Club World Cup to generate extra revenue. We still haven't secured a front of shirt sponsor. That will bring in extra revenue. The wage bill is a lot lower than it has been in recent years. That's going to save us money. We still got to sell a load of players that we're trying to offload. That will generate us revenue. So I feel like we are in a very healthy position. And if Chelsea can continue this almost periodically, we should in theory never lose money. In theory, as long as we continue doing what we're doing, player sales, where we really slow it down, we sell people for profit, we only buy key important players when we can, and we keep competing at the highest level, generating revenue, then from sponsorships as well, obviously ticket sales, etc., the whole lot combined, we should be safe. We should be safe, and we should be continuing to be in a healthy PSR sort of balance for the FA and also UEFA. So just thought it was important, and look, to react to this with you guys, and also get your thoughts and opinions down below about Chelsea abusing loopholes and the amount of money, the sheer amount of money we've earned from the Club World Cup, going into the semi-finals earning 60 million euros completely from the Club World Cup itself. It's basically wrote off 1.5, potentially 2 of our signings, just about. If you take Sarr and Delap, for example. Or we take all that money and just pay UEFA and still have money left over because obviously you've got the conditional and unconditional fines. I think that's absolutely wild. And if we went on to win this, that would take it to 100 million, which is absolutely ludicrous. That would cover all our spendings. We'd probably be in a plus, or, well, it'd be very tight. It'd either be breaking even, be at a plus, or a very minimal loss in terms of the transfers we made plus the earnings we've got. It's absolutely crazy. But I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions down below about Chelsea breaching the UEFA rules. Do you feel like it was bound to happen? Do you feel quietly confident that Chelsea can overcome this and be very safe going forward? Do you think this is a good move on UEFA's part? Now, the one thing I did notice is obviously our player wage ratio or something like that was over 80%. And again, they've been trying their best to reduce the wage bill. And I feel like we can go, or the squad cost is 80%. We will be able to reduce that over time with the players that we're selling. But just thought I'd react to it with you guys. Get your opinions down below in the comments. Fabrizio Romano has reported, I can confirm here today, Noni Madueke is open to moving to Arsenal. Now, this feeds into what Enzo Maresca said in his post-match press conference. Now, there's been a lot of talk about Noni Madueke in the last few days going to Arsenal. It's kind of on and off. And now it looks like this is really happening. And I want to talk about this from the outside looking in, with the briefings, with the PR and the press that we react to, and also, well, yeah, just all of the things that we react to. Do you think that Chelsea are trying to force Noni Madueke out of the club? Or do you feel like this is a natural or organic thing where Madueke is actually thinking, I might want to jump ship here. If Arsenal are interested, I could go. I personally think he would do well at Arsenal, and I think that Chelsea would regret selling him. However, it's a bit of a rock and a hard place, because if we get rid of Madueke, I truly believe we'll go all in for Mohammed Kudus, which is a like-for-like, which is a current upgrade. However, Madueke's ceiling and the potential he's got to go on and to be an absolute world beater is second to none. We still haven't seen the best of him. He had his best return last season, and some people say that he still didn't improve, which is a testament to his skill level, really. If you are a highest goal scoring winger, and it's still not good enough, he can go on next season and really kick on. I just don't want to see him play in an Arsenal shirt. I personally feel like he will be a backup for Bukayo Saka. He will play on the left wing for Arsenal, and I don't know, I could just see him doing extremely well for that club. He does look like an Arsenal player, which I know is a weird thing to say, but I could picture him in an Arsenal shirt. I think it looks right on him, as well as a Chelsea shirt, as much as I don't want him to leave. I can see either Noni Madueke pushing for the move now, or this is something that the club are trying to have the narrative, or we're going to try and slowly get him out because we want to replace him with someone like Mohammed Kudus. Now, from Noni Madueke's side, I really don't blame him. The Chelsea fans have been on his back the entire season. He's one of the most divisive players in the Chelsea fan base. I back Noni Madueke. I think he's a fantastic player. He's very, very frustrating, I'll admit. Very, very frustrating. And yes, he can do better. But again, like I said, the best goal-scoring winger of our season, last season, his best return for a season as well. And he's still very young. He's an England international as well. International. I can't even get my words out. He's an England international as well. And he's still very, very young. But the Chelsea fans are on his back all the time. And I get it when players are frustrating, but it seems like it's just relentless with him. So from Noni Madueke's perspective, if he takes notice of the social media stuff, he might be thinking, yeah, do you know what? I'm just going to go the nearest opportunity. These fans clearly don't want me here, which I think is wild. Now, I'm not saying it's every fan. There's still, a big portion of the fan base that really like Noni Madueke, myself included. But I don't know whether it's more Chelsea trying to push Noni out. Noni really wants to move. Is it just because Arsenal are involved? If it wasn't Arsenal, we wouldn't be bothered at all. I'm very curious to know your thoughts and opinions down below about Noni Madueke. We've spoke about him recently. A lot of fans don't want to get rid of him. Some fans want to get rid of him. But I want to know about the narrative that's being spun here. Is this Chelsea forcing him out, or does Noni want the move? Fabrizio Romano has just reported that Understand Arsenal have now started advancing on personal term discussions with Noni Madueke. Madueke hasn't asked to leave Chelsea at this stage. He's focused on the Club World Cup. Meanwhile, he's understood to be open to an Arsenal move. Nothing agreed / close between the clubs yet. Now, this looks like the move is going to happen, in my opinion. I know that we've been speaking as things have been reported. This has just been reported. I've just edited this into the video as I was doing the editing. It looks like this move is going to happen, in my opinion. I don't feel like you go to this stage and try and agree personal terms and then don't go for the move. If you're open to the move, obviously you're going to have those discussions to see what they are like. But in my opinion, I feel like this move is going to happen, and Noni Madueke will be be an Arsenal player. It's just going to be very curious to know how much money Arsenal are going to offer. And obviously, if Madueke accepts the personal terms, I very rarely in my lifetime have seen players turn down personal terms they couldn't agree. It has obviously happened. Don't get me wrong. It has happened. But if the player's open to a move, normally personal terms are not a problem. The one thing that Arsenal do, and they have done historically in the last sort of 5 or 6 years, is they pay big wages. Massive wages. There'll be more wages than what he's currently on. And I suppose it's down to the project of what Arteta wants to kind of talk to him about and see if Madueke can be a part of that. This is very interesting, and things seem to be moving quickly. So again, we've got to speak about Mohammed Kudus later in this video. I feel like this could be the domino, the make weight of one in, one out personally. But I would love to know your thoughts and opinions down below regarding Noni. Do you still think that the Chelsea club are trying to push him out? Do you think Noni Madueke really does want this move? Or, I don't know, is it the briefing, is it the PRs, or is Noni Madueke, is this just organic? Arsenal have come across, Noni Madueke hasn't said no. He said, all right, yeah, I could be open to that move. And it's just organic conversations. I would very much like to know your thoughts and opinions down below. But now this seems to be moving quickly. With personal terms being discussed, I can see Noni Madueke being an Arsenal player very soon. Ed Aarons and the Guardian Sport have reported that Chelsea, Newcastle and Manchester United still hold interest in Kudus. West Ham would do business for £60 million, but were unimpressed with Spurs' proposal of £50 million plus £5 million to be paid over 5 years. Ex-West Ham employee has reported that West Ham are confident that Chelsea will submit a better offer for Mohammed Kudus than Tottenham's current bid. And this is where it all feeds into. It's the one in, one out for me. It's look, Maresca is an admirer of Kudus, even though he can't directly come out and say that, as he is being respectful of him being a West Ham player. He has come out and said, if Noni isn't happy, bye, see you later. I only want to work with players that are happy to be here, which I think he's well within his right to do. Noni Madueke is now officially open to the move to Arsenal. The door is open. If he wants to go, Kudus was offered to Chelsea. Chelsea were trying to mess around with a £50 million bid plus players. West Ham don't want that. They want straight cash. They're willing to let him go for £60 million, which is £24 million lower than his release clause to Premier League clubs. They turned down Spurs' offer of a 5-year payment plan of £50 million and £5 million in add-ons, which I think is wild, by the way, but that's how a lot of clubs work with these instalments. It is in Chelsea's hand. We are in pole position to sign Mohammed Kudus, and we need to get this deal over the line as soon as possible. We need to make a decision on Madueke. Are we going to say, look, you are part of the plans, do you want to stay? Or there's the door, see you later. We're going to go get Mohammed Kudus, who's going to come in and be a level raiser in this Chelsea squad. I think he is a fantastic player. A lot of you guys have been telling me in the comments, he is amazing. He's an amazing player. And honestly, he would do so well in an Maresca system. He's physical. He could be a bully. He's clinical in the final third. He's clinical with his finishing. He's a workhorse. He will press. He will do the dirty work. He is another profile bringing in, when you look at our squad now, when you've got the likes of Delap and you've got Enzo and Caicedo and João Pedro, people with grit, people with, that can do the dirty work. Santos as well. Asugo that can do that. There's more leadership coming in through the squad. A winning mentality is being developed. You've got the likes of Levi Colwell saying we only want winners here. But then backing that up with people with grit and passion that can do the dirty work, can put in a challenge, can work hard for the manager. You then add Kudus into that. Mate, our team will be unbelievably scary. We've got Willian Esteval coming in, who's just an unbelievable talent. He's going to come in. You can see how ruthless he is with the amazing goal he scored against us last night. But then the fact he celebrated in front of the fans, he didn't care that he was playing Chelsea. He didn't care that we're his future employer. That's ruthless. That's passion. That's him wanting to be the best that he can be. You add all that into one stirring pot of a Chelsea starting 11, and things really start to change. And it's an exciting time to be a Chelsea fan. So for me, I feel like Chelsea are in pole position to sign Mohammed Kudus. West Ham want Chelsea to come in with a better offer. They feel that we're going to do that. And for the sake of the current competition being £50 million plus £5 million in add-ons over 5 years, Chelsea have earned enough money. We've been fined, we've still earned enough money. We still have a long list of players to sell. Madueke is looking for that potential move. He's open to the move. That could be potential money that essentially pays for Mohammed Kudus. The only thing we have to think about here is how Chelsea are going to go about it. Are they going to have to sell Madueke first to then secure Kudus? Or are they waiting to see when the right opportunity is money-wise and buy Kudus and then sell Madueke as a byproduct? Or are we waiting to sell a list of players first to generate the income and then attack this? The window has still got a long time to go, and I feel like Chelsea will go and secure Mohammed Kudus, and he will look good in a Chelsea shirt. He will play amazing in an Enzo Maresca system. That is just my opinion. But I would love to know your thoughts and opinions down below. Do you feel like Chelsea are in pole position to sign Mohammed Kudus? Do you think that Noni Madueke is gone? Do you think he's gone, £50 million? How would you go about this? Would you buy Kudus first? Would you sell players to generate revenue? Would you let Madueke go before you then go buy Kudus? Do you think £60 million is the right price for Mohammed Kudus? And do you think he would be a good player in Enzo Maresca's system? I'm very curious to know your thoughts. And that's the latest Chelsea news. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported down below in the comment section. I love having a conversation with you guys. And if you have watched this video all the way to the end, firstly, you're a real one. And I mean that. You're a real one. But secondly, there'll be a thumbnail appears on the screen. So if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content, make sure to click that thumbnail because you'll enjoy that video too.